short of doing our own system, you got to have TDS and CenturyLink and Charter and everybody kind of either partnering with you to get it out there. What I understand is a whole bunch of fiber line running all over the place. We need to find a way to hook into it or add to it. So is it the 50% grant if we were granted something? Doesn't seem like it's still enough. So what is it that you think it's going to take to get folks to the table to at least get service moving? Is it, instead of $20,000 a mile in the ground to run fiber, do we look at going more in the pole on the short term, the next 3, you know? There's some pros and cons. I just want to, what is the right way to get moving? Because we can't wait another 5 years because Bruce may not be here. You know, folks like that, they can't sit and watch that thing spin. So,
and the costs are going up every year that we delay. I mean, even just last year, I understand your point about wanting to slow down to find out what you were doing, but that also the cost for deploying any kind of infrastructure keeps going up, and so it makes it even more difficult. It's more expensive, and so that grant goes in, you know, less, covers less, and so we can't afford to wait, and so we have to get money out there. I think that our experience is that government has to be a part of the solution because private sector isn't motivated to do it.
Private sector is not going to do it.
Right now.
The private sector has to answer to a board of directors, okay? And there's no way the Frontier, the TDSs, the CenturyLinks are going to take a big loss across the country.
The large providers that answer to shareholder boards are very, very problematic to deal with. Frontier, even though they got CAF 2 funding from the federal government, I think the amount that they're spending in Canada County is like $114,000.
The co-ops back up north are doing a fabulous job on
the
getting
co-op
increased
seems to be the model.
You know,
that
what is that model? What are they doing, the co-ops?
They're building infrastructure. They're putting the money back into the product.
You mean the power co-ops?
No.
Well,
no.
These are telephone co-ops
co-ops
up there. Yeah. And you know, instead of paying benefits out to the people that are buying the service, they're putting it back into the infrastructure.
Which is the same with the electric co-ops too. The co-op model from what we have been working with for years and years of meeting with the large telcos, we have found that we had more traction in a shorter period of time working with the telephone co-op, Federated Telephone Co-op in Western has been very aggressive, and they found ways to make it work in counties, and they're doing work that nobody else seems to be.
And it seems like even with the grants, folks, these private companies don't seem to be interested in putting.
The one thing I heard there was there were too many strings.
Too many strings attached.
That's what
we're trying
That's
to
what I heard
figure out,
from Arvig was, because I asked right away, why aren't we going for some of this federal broadband money? It's too many strings attached. You got it, federal money. You've got to jump through too many hoops. You've got to, do this. You got to do that.
Even applications on our state grants this year are down 30%. So why aren't they applying?
Who can apply though?
It
has to be a telephone company or
a
wireless company.
Yeah.
But those companies already, they won't apply.
And I don't know how many times I heard you can't make a business case for this area, so we're not going to do it.
And
I had a supervisor who
was
on a 512 DSL, and he was my supervisor back there, and they wouldn't plow to his house because they couldn't make a business model. There were only 3 people out there or whatever. I mean, that was the bottom line. It was the bottom line. They weren't going to build unless they could get a return within 3 years.
And that's the problem.
And Federated,
to be able to amortize investment like that over 3 years. I mean, who does that? What industry sector gets to be able to do that?
But it's turning over so fast, coming from their side of it too. It's turning over so fast, and you're rolling equipment out that quick that if you can't turn it over in 3 years, there's something else that you have to be providing.
But the co-ops they're doing
the co-ops.
They're doing it over a 10-year model.
Right.
Well, and the co-ops don't care if they make money. If they break even, they're happy, and so they are putting money back in. You're not going to get that from the private sector. They aren't going to do it.
Dan.
I always get a little nervous coming into a group like this because we've spent 15 years, 16 years trying to stay under the radar. To build this thing takes a tremendous amount of money. But we have to do it. Somehow we have to figure it out. And I think, Gene, personally, I want every person. I focus on the rural area. 85% of our subscribers have a township address. There was no one going on. I have 5 board members. 4 of them are active farmers. 1 retired as a city clerk, but lives in the country and has farmland. So they understand why would we be down in Wyndham or Round Lake or up in Belgrade and Fruiton, Marietta, Appleton. Why would it? And I've had some of my farm friends that know me say, why are you doing that? And I say to Mr. Farmer, I said, remember when you had dial-up and how much better once we got your service? Oh, there's people who still have dial-up. Other people that have satellite dish that can't run a VPN or you can't run your network every day. And I was up in Alexandria earlier today, but again, we have to do this. And I do go and speak to different groups. How do you, Gene brought up Federated Farmers. Swift County, Lackawanna County, worked with their co-op telephone companies. One is going, they've made application for state money and gotten some. My company applied last year, and we wanted to do just a little project. It was a $200,000 grant. We would match that $200,000. 1 year later, I'm saying, guys, no, this isn't going to work. We're going to go across our network because no one else is doing this. We're going to have a $1.8 million, $800,000 request, and we will put in the other $1 million. You get more points if you put in more than the grant amount. And there's a real pecking order. The Broadband Task Force has nothing to do with, and I explained that to Dave, I said, I won't sit on this board if we can't take advantage of some of the programs that are out there, federal, and we had an ARA project. That was $1.2 million. And what we've been able to do is every month we go up $3,000 to $5,000 a month on revenue, and I blame it on the accounting office that does pays all of our bills and takes all of the payments. MVTV doesn't touch any of that, but our accountant succeeds in spending just about everything that we have coming in. So I'm authorizing them all, but I blame it on them. You know, why don't we have more money? Well, you're building too much. Why are you building? Because there's people that need it, businesses that need it. We plan to do a $1.8 million, all 59 lengths of licensed spectrum, and that potentially could get us 1.6 gig through our network. We don't need that much. But this thing has just exploded in the last 3-4 years. It wasn't 10 years ago, it was in the last 2, 3, 4 years. It has just mushroomed from Netflix to Major League Baseball to